morning, distinguished speakers, Excellency Ambassador of Switzerland, distinguished guests and journalists. It's a pleasure to be here this morning attending the event on Nepal Competitiveness Index. I missed the event 2 years ago. I think when the first issue was made public, I was invited, but I was unable to attend the meeting. This time I got the second edition of the Nepal Competitiveness Index. This has been a remarkable effort by NIPoRe. I would like to thank Jai Mahatji for this activity. In fact, in the context of Nepal's move to federalism, it is very important to look into the competitiveness of each of the provinces and also municipalities, so that the policies can be prepared in such a manner that level playing field can be created in all provinces. All provinces may have the equal opportunity as well as for the inclusive development. I think the analysis of the competitiveness is very important, and NIPoRe has done a very good work. The findings and the recommendations of this report would definitely be valuable to the government. While the government is preparing the 16th plan, although 16th plan preparation is in the final stage, I think during the course of this exercise, you must have discussed with the National Planning Commission on some of the findings of this analysis to be incorporated in the programs and policies of 16th development plan. Along with the federal government plan, provincial governments also are preparing plan. I think the information contained here will be valuable to them as well. Macroeconomic stability, of course, is very important for not only the federal government, but also the municipal and the provincial government, and also for the public. Around 1.5 years ago, around 2 years ago, people in Nepal, media, all were debating whether Nepal will be on the path of Sri Lanka. So everyone, even in the village, I was in Lukum, remote village called Lukum. People were asking me, because they happened to know me as former Finance Secretary, and they asked me, will Nepal be Sri Lanka? I said, how do you know Nepal will be Sri Lanka? Because our radio keeps on always telling that Nepal will become Sri Lanka. So Nepal becoming Sri Lanka became a household word in Nepal because of the macroeconomic problems. The problem then was Nepal was running out of foreign exchange, balance of payment was in deficit, trade, of course, we are always in deficit. Most of the years we are having current account deficit. Fortunately, for the last 4 or 5 months, we are running a surplus because of the remittance, growing remittance, and also because of declining exports, declining imports, which is not really good. So this improvement in the external sector balance is good on the face, but does not have strength. It is not something to be happy about, although it is good. So had this been possible through rising exports, strengthened economy, higher GDP, then probably the external sector balance would have been making us happier. Stable growth, moderate inflation, external sector stability, financial sector stability, good fiscal balance of the government. These are very important elements of macroeconomic stability. And in the case of Nepal, compared to some of the South Asian countries like Pakistan, even Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, of course, has been an example for a longer period of time. We have been able to maintain the macroeconomic stability for a long period of time. But what does macroeconomic stability mean? It means it has to contribute to higher investments, higher investor confidence, then contributing to higher employment and higher growth. But in terms of converting the macroeconomic stability into the real results that people can feel, we have always been poor. So macroeconomic stability alone is not sufficient. So as for the macroeconomic stability to contribute to the goodness of the people, goodness of the country, there has to be a good governance. If the governance is good, then one thing, the investors will feel investing, So what is governance basically? Governance basically is low corruption. The government officials provide quicker services, facilitation is good, regulation is good, wider service delivery of the government is good. If those are good, then only the macroeconomic stability can produce results. In case of Nepal, in spite of having macroeconomic stability for a long period of time, as somebody in the beginning said that we sustained COVID-19, we not only sustained COVID-19, we also sustained global financial crisis of 2008, the trade blockade, the earthquake, several difficult times, including the 10-year-long armed conflict, very long political transition during the drafting of the constitution. We sustained all those difficult times because of the macroeconomic stability. Our fiscal balance was always good. Although people keep on talking about so much foreign debt, so much total debt of the government over the head of the people. But Nepal is the least indebted country in, not only in South Asia, but also among the ranks of the developing countries in the world. At 42%, it's not very high. If the government has the ability to spend well and spend in capital formation, then we have still what we call as fiscal space. Now, at the provincial level, if the weakened macroeconomic stability of the country as a whole, if the macroeconomic stability is weak, it is not, there are problems, for example, in the case of the government fiscal balance, in the case of the external balance or financial sector, the consequences are mostly felt by the provinces and the municipalities and wider public. If the financial sector goes into crisis, for example, currently there are rumors going around about certain banks in problem, which is not really true because Nepal Bank has really serious supervisory and regulatory mechanism through which they always look into the problems and try to resolve them before they create problems in the economy. But the problems created by cooperatives, problems created by microfinance, as a result of which, more than the federal government, it is the municipal and the provincial government suffer because the population within their jurisdiction don't have adequate access to finance. And because most of Nepal is not served by commercial banks. Most of the rural area is served by microfinance, cooperatives, informal or small financial setup created by communities, which we call as community-based organizations, who have also saving and credit operations. They might not be registered, they might be registered in the form of cooperative, but there are such units at the local level which are the source of finance for the wider public and the basically poor people and small entrepreneurs. So if the overall financial sector is in deep trouble, then the bigger suffering is on the people. Therefore, in that context, macroeconomic stability becomes very important. I have not gone into the details and the data produced by NIPoRe in this report. I had gone through 2022 report. I think there are certain changes in some provinces. Some provinces have lagged behind. Some provinces are improving. So in course of time that certainly happens. But what this report should be able to do is to help the government to address the problems that are seen in different provinces and improving the overall competitiveness and particularly the macroeconomic stability. In the case of the provinces also have the right to borrow as per the constitution and also as per the law, but they have not exercised that right. So fiscal deficit at the provincial and municipal level is low. Therefore, the risk to macroeconomic stability from them as a government entity is much lower. In future, if they exercise, National Resources and Fiscal Commission has already given them right to borrow. The limit has been set to them at 12% of the annual revenue they collect. So, but they have not been able to borrow because the mechanism is not in place. Federal government has the mechanism through Nepal Rashtra Bank, through Public Debt Management Office, whether Public Debt Management Office should also be doing the agency function of the federal government, provincial government and municipal government. That is not yet clear. Therefore, they have not gone to market through borrowings. Municipalities, of course, have gone to market through borrowings. One to Town Development Fund Board, that is the federal government board. So they are slightly leveraged. The provincial government are not leveraged. Therefore, there is no risk from their side towards macroeconomic stability. And most of the subnational government do much less on the external sector stability or financial sector stability. So therefore, the risk from their side at the moment is much less, but the risk from their side in future will increase. But the positive contribution that the provinces and the municipalities can do is to help promote exports. If they create right environment for improving exports, then we can have, just as the macroeconomic stability we maintained in the past, a sustained macroeconomic stability and positive, moderate to high growth. That is what Nepal requires. So I wouldn't spend much time. I think I was given 10 minutes. I wouldn't spend all my time. Thank you, Zaidji, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you all for the patience.